Hello everyone, how's it going? So in this video, we're going to be talking about Hyliion trading under the ticker symbol HYLN. So if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, please take a look at the links down in the description. And every single time that you use the services with my links, I will get a slight commission which can help to improve my channel's content and without additional cost for you. So with all that being said, let's get on with today's topic. Basically, Hyliion. Usually my videos start with sort of like a price action, then I go to the company. But in this case, I guess we can mesh it together a little bit more. And with the perspective of Hyliion, what we can also see is like the treatment to a whole bunch of companies, not just Hyliion, but anything that's like in the high tech, in the EV, that's in the riskier side of things. The reason why I want to bring this up is because ultimately the reason why the EV went up and went bust over the course of like 2 to 3 years is mostly a question of capital movement, right? Because for the better or worse, the fundamentals only matter to a certain extent. What also matters is the whatever reason that pushes capital to enter into one sector over another. And as far as Hyliion is concerned, right now they're trading like below $2, and time will tell whether they can hold the $2 level or if they're gonna just keep going down. So personally, I would say that Hyliion is probably gonna go lower before it gets higher, just because we currently don't have any sort of sector-wide catalyst that pushes the EV stocks back, right? Of course, at the same time, does it mean that Hyliion itself is a bad company? See, I haven't really heard anyone saying bad stuff about Hyliion per se. Okay, I've heard bad stuff about Rivian, I've heard bad stuff about Workhorse, I've heard bad stuff about Tesla, about NIO, about a whole bunch of, oh yeah, and did I say Nikola? So if I didn't say Nikola, then Nikola, okay? But my point is, bad news are not rare in this industry, unfortunately. And to a certain extent, I'm even tempted to say that it's more normal to have bad news than not. So this cannot really explain why Hyliion, a company with interesting products, at least on the drawing board, with interesting products, can somehow like fall from grace up to that level. It's kind of rare, and no one is saying the opposite. So what I think happened was just that at some point people just started to look for yields elsewhere, right? Back when money was flowing freely, yield was very hard to come by, so anything that gives you like a potential or an illusion of growth, you're gonna pounce on it. Things have changed since then. If with almost 100% guaranteed capital protection, you can get 5 or 6% of yields, then what's the point of risking your neck with a bunch of random companies in which you just hope that you're gonna make money? So if anything, like if how can I put this? If our money is worth more now, there might also be just less of it, right? That's just supply and demand. But where did the money go? Well, financial system being an overall zero-sum game, if it went out of somebody's pockets, it went into others. So I would say that whatever NASDAQ has lost, the bonds, the dividend stocks, or the guaranteed deposits have gained. And because of this, I would say that Hyliion will definitely have to be patient with the market and with itself. And the shareholders have to be patient with Hyliion in regards to when can they expect to recoup part or all of their investment. Yes, of course, time will tell, but like in this case, we're talking about like more than 10 years, that sort of time frame. If over that period of time, people are successful at getting like pure play EV trucks out, then yeah, this is going to be a good move. If not, then your money would have been lost. And to be fair, I'm not fully convinced that even with the benefit of hindsight, we can prevent a potential catastrophe. Like, there's no writing on the wall. This is not Nikola, right? So time will tell if Hyliion can come up with a pure play EV truck, and also if the market will start to like adapt more to the truckers community. If this adoption is successful, then yeah, we won't have an issue. On the other hand, if the market is like, you know what, I think that the diesels or the combustion engines are still going to be good to go for another few decades, then we might run into some problems. Let's not forget that in many countries, we have like a potential lock from 2035 and onwards, like a law forbidding people to buy new combustion engine vehicles, meaning within the decade, so by 2045, we might have far more EV vehicles on the road. And by then, there could be a demand for cars like what Hyliion would be offering. So that is a real possibility. What can we do to better prepare ourselves for that eventuality? I would argue that we need to be, how can I put this? We need to be disciplined with ourselves and to be ready to assume 4 to 5 years of unrealized losses. That's how long I would presume like the current downtrend can go, right? If our core assumption regarding the EV industry remains the same, meaning it's still going to be relevant 10 years from now, then sure, we can wait 10 years. Like, this is the kind of mentality that you gotta have. But of course, I said 5 years, right? So in 5 years, can we expect the market to correct itself and for like everything to come back to a new normal? I would say that it's possible, because nowadays crises, they don't last necessarily that long. Okay, I think that nowadays crises, they last for a year or two, and then afterwards we're talking about recoveries. So if I were you, the way I would approach this is to say, look, this is going to be a moonshot. So I don't really expect the stock to necessarily recovery now, but there will be a certain chance that Hyliion can take up the new highs years from now. Is it 100%, 200%, 300%? All of these above. Like, this will really depend on how the overall trend goes. If the overall trend says, well, I mean, that looks pretty, promising, the EV cars are going to go really wild, then Hyliion is going to go wild. On the other hand, if that's not what the market says, then there's not that much that we can lose, very honestly. Like, right now, things are still too early to call. The bad news have mostly been priced in, but the bad news mostly come from the market, not really the company proper. So the day that Hyliion really starts to shine with actual products and so on, I would say that there won't be that many bad news ready to price in by then. I feel like a lot of the times people are going to be more than ready for that change by the time that we need to make the switch. And, personally, I would say that Hyliion is a good stock to be had at maximum like 1% of your portfolio's capital to be spread over the next 6 to 9 months.